So this may not be your average real thing video, but doesn't mean you shouldn't watch it. So today I'm going to be doing a tier list on every RiverLINE locomotive, or train, whatever they're called. So, but before I go, there's a few things I would like to talk about. Number one, this is not going to be how many times I've seen it. This is going to be strictly about how its horn sounds like, their paint schemes, as some of them don't even have RiverLINE logos. Second thing, this does not mean I will be doing any RiverLINE series of any kind, nor any series in general, for now at least, but we'll see what happens. And the third thing, number 3505 will not be included, as out of all 20 of the RiverLINE trains, it is the only one I have not seen running. So the first one we're going to go over is 3501. 3501, like, it's not bad, but like, I mean, good sounding horn, because all the other ones sound like trash, but pretty average. I'll give it a B. 3502. 3502, I feel the exact same as 3501. Like I said for 3501, it's horn. 3502's horn. I mean, I gotta be honest, its horn's like better. They sound the same. But 3502, again, I feel the same as 3501. I mean, I've seen 3502 as just more than 01, but still, I just feel better about it than the other. 3503. 3503, I mean, unlike the first two, I like 3503 like more. I've seen it more, but it's just similar to 3501. 3503 isn't common. So like whenever I see it, I'm like, oh cool, it's 3503. So yeah. That's always a plus. 3504. Now, this one I take a bit of issue with. I mean, and a lot of people are going to get mad at me for this, but 3504, every time I see it, it's like awkwardly shiny for some reason. Always. And like, that's not a big deal. But my main problem with it is that the fact that its number is slightly offset, and it just really annoys me. So, yeah. But it's not the worst. 3506. 3506, like, just like 3501 and 3502, I don't see it as much, but it's just normal. It's normal. I don't know how I feel about it. So, normal, pretty good. The decent sounding horn too. Actually, now that I think about it, A, because if you remember, I did get in trouble when I was at River Avenue. The last time I was at River Avenue, I got in trouble for being there, and this was the one I got in trouble with while recording. So that's definitely a plus. 3507. 3507, just like 3501 and 3502, it's not common. This is actually one of the least common ones on this list. But like I think the last time I saw it, I think it was back in February. So, like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. 3508. This one, unlike 3507, I have a little bit of history with. I've seen it almost killing people, because they were crossing the tracks at the last second. I've seen it. This one is just not, I don't know. But this one's definitely an A, because, actually, now I think about it, right up an S, because I wrote it. That's definitely a plus. I wrote it twice. For at least, that's all I know. 3509. Okay, I actually lied earlier. This is the best RiverLINE train. I don't know what I was thinking earlier. Who cares about 3508? 3509 is the best. In fact, it's so good, I'm gonna put it right here. I don't think any RiverLINE train deserves to be here more than this one. Okay, get ready for a rant right now, but the reason that it is actually down at D tier is because it's so freaking common on the roster. I want to say it passed Cove Road at least 14 times a day back in December, and my problem is that it always looks the same. It's always purple and blue. No matter which way you look, there's 3509 right there. There's so little that stands out between this one and 3511, it's ridiculous. Not only that, every train I saw back in December had 3509 on it. It was so hard to find a train back then that did not have 3509 on it. Give me something different for God's sake. Please, just something. Anything except Now, like, it isn't the worst. When I talked to the engineer that day when I was at Cooper Street / Rutgers southbound, that was nice. When 3511 passes and then 3509 passes right after it, that's always nice. And let's not forget the time back in December when I saw it on a double DMU set with 3510, but that's just a little bit. It's cool to see, but when it gets too common, no, I'm sorry for ranting like that, but I just had to point that out there. This is staying at D tier, and I highly doubt any of you can get me to change my mind. Moving on. 3510. Unlike 3509, this is way better, besides the fact that I saw it on a 2-car train, but it's just better than a couple of these. I love 3510, and I'm really glad that it became that it's more common than it used to be. So, hey, I think it's pretty good. 3511. Unlike 3509, this is way better. I love 3511, and I honestly appreciate the white on the sides, because it honestly kind of looks like it's camouflage. So, hey, I like this one. 3512. Now, this one's going to surprise a couple people. 3512 may have been the second RiverLINE train I ever recorded on this channel, but recently its horn's been sounding really awkward and quiet. I'll show you a few examples. Oh, that way. Oh, I'm showing you. Yeah. Do you hear how not normal that sounds? And that is why C. Why C and not D? Because it is the first RiverLINE, is the second actually RiverLINE train I've ever recorded. 3504 was the first. 3513. Now, this one I also have a bit of history with. Back in mid-2023, I hated this one. And that was because I always thought it was so common. Back then I would go out, watch 2 trains, and call it a day. But now that I think about it, I like this one because it's not as common anymore. Just like 3503, I see it and I'm like, oh, it's 3513, so B. I like this. 3514. Now, this is the one I think I have the least to say about. I've only seen this one about 3 times, and I've only ever heard its horn 1 time. But as of now, B. 3515. Now, this is another one I have issue with. 1, its horn is trash, and 2, its paint has been peeling off for years, and then it turns just like oh yeah, we're just fix it and send it back out for it just start peeling away again. And for all I know, they last ran back in January, and I last saw it back in January. So yeah, but at the end of the day, not terrible. B. 3516. Now, this one, I honestly don't know how to feel about this one. The first time I saw it, I think, was November 2022, and I didn't see it again until July the next year. And recently it's become more common, so that's always nice. So, but decent horn, B. 3517. If you actually thought I was going to give a bad explanation for this, nah. Great horn, looks great, especially in the sunlight. S tier. 3518. 3518, I mean, just like a couple of the ones we mentioned earlier, not common, but it's okay. I saw it leading a double DMU set, so I'm gonna give it an A because, why not? 3519. 3519, I take a bit of issue with. One, it's horn. It like whenever they stop sounding the horn, it just cuts off really quickly. Like I'll show you an example on screen right now. So yeah. And my other problem is that from far away I can always identify it, not because of the horn, but also because it's like the A section, the NJ Transit logo. I don't know why, but it looks like it's slightly lowered. So because of that, I'm gonna give it a C because, Last but not least, 3520. Do I even need to give an explanation for this one? Didn't think so. Great horn, because it's probably one of the best horns out there. And this one is actually pretty interesting because, it's missing two RiverLINE logos. So that's interesting. So that concludes my RiverLINE tier list. If you have any suggestions or if you want me to change something, put it in the comments. And also tell me if you like this because I've never tried anything like this before. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.